Hey, now by a round of applause, how many of you guys have cruised before? Close, okay. Get to know each other. I started doing Princess in 2005. I've been on, this is my first week on Discovery, but I've been on every ship in this fleet numerous times over the last 15, 16 years, whatever it is. And so I've seen quite a bit. And people always go, okay, you're a comedian. Where do you get your jokes from? Where do you get your material? You can find material just about any place you look. Case in point, flying in to get on the ship, we start to descend. What do we all do? Ooh, gotta hurry up and go to the bathroom because it's gonna be another 45 minutes before I go to the bathroom, right? So I did, and I ran down the aisle, and there was a lady on the aisle breastfeeding her child, and I know she was breastfeeding because I made about 3 passes. I was like, I hope I'm not being conspicuous. And she goes, no, it helps to unplug his ears when we're landing. And I'm thinking, all this time. All this time I've been chewing gum. I did not know there was a second choice on that menu. But it's good to see you again, ma'am. Anyway, I'm only teasing. I'm talking to the grandma behind you. All right, anyway, you still got it going, honey. Because I'm talking to you, mister. Anyway, I can't say nothing. All right, there you are. Hey, but you can pick up some funny stuff, though. I'll give you, for example, you travel as much as I do, as much as most of you guys do. We were in La Paz, Mexico, okay? They overnighted us there to get on the ship the next morning, right? Sitting in my hotel on the bed watching every movie that they had. Every American movie they had was in Spanish. My friends, you have not lived until you've seen Rocky in Spanish. Yo sí, el hotel grande, gracias a ustedes. A Chihuahua, chili con queso, rápido rock, rápido. Yo sí, el hotel grande, rápido rock. Yo es bien. Now that part I understood. But then what comes after that, I think? What comes after that? John Wayne in Chinese? Stay with me. Well, Chong Lang Chow Mon Tai Pao Kishi Masha. Well, Long Duck Dong. Mon Tai Pao Hop Sing. Wang Chung. Lady Gaga Pilgrim. You know, that deserved much more than you gave me. I don't know what y'all are waiting for. Y'all are just like, yeah, what else we got? What else is on television? No, jump on. This is live, kittens. This is live. But you know what the funny part was? The first time I did that, I was actually in China. I was in Hong Kong, and the entire audience, they loved it. The entire audience looked at me and go, ta-ha-ha, that's not funny. Ping, anyway, what? What? Sometimes the audience has the funnier line. You bet, even more so than the comic. I had a couple of my crowd married 70 years. 70. The man was 92, and I asked him, I said, how do you keep that going? 70 years, how do you keep that interesting? He was ready for it, because he stood up, he goes, it's very simple. I take my wife to Hawaii. 5 years later, I come back and get her. And he sits back down. Genius. Lady walks into a pharmacy. She goes, I want a pound of arsenic so I can murder my husband. Pharmacist says, madam, you can't come in here and ask for a pound of arsenic to murder your husband. If I just tell you that, I'd be guilty by association. At which point the lady pulls out a picture of her husband in bed with the pharmacist's wife. The pharmacist looks at the picture and says, well, I didn't know you had a prescription. So you guys laughed harder at that than the first crowd did. I'm loving y'all already. But anyway, couple celebrating the wedding anniversary, and the husband's all kind of down and disheveled and depressed. Wife goes, what's the matter with you? He goes, I was just thinking that time 20 years ago, we behind your old man's barn messing around, and he caught us, and he stuck that shotgun through the window of my car, said, boy, you either marry my daughter, you're going to spend the next 20 years in prison. She goes, well, you did the right thing. He goes, I know, but I'd have gotten out today. Look at this, sir. Be careful what jokes you laugh at, mister. I'm just saying. Could be a long rest of the cruise for you. Oh, we got a seal in the crowd. All right, but anyway. Hey, okay, I got another one if you want. What the hell? Couple watching television. The husband's got the clicker, right? They've been married forever. Wife gets up, they're watching the fishing channel. Wife gets up, leaves the room, he switches it to the adult channel. Ooh. The wife comes back, he switches it back to the fishing channel. Wife gets up, leaves again. He switches it back to the adult channel. Ooh. Wife comes back a little too soon this time, and he quickly switches it back to the fishing channel. The wife sits down, opens up a magazine, waits for a minute. She says, "Why don't you just leave it on the adult channel? You already know how to fish." And the women are back. Okay. I got one more if you want to hear it. Want to hear it? Okay. Again, couple married forever, and the husband's watching a basketball game. The wife keeps interrupting him. She goes, "Honey, can you fix his light bulb in the hall? It's been blinking on and off for a week." He said, "Excuse me, does this say General Electric on this forehead? I'm waiting for watching the game." She goes, "Well, can you at least fix the refrigerator door? It doesn't close properly." He said, "Excuse me, does this say Westinghouse on this forehead? I'm waiting for LeBron to cover the spread." She goes, "Well, can you at least fix the steps by the front door? They're gonna break." He said, "Excuse me, does it say True Value Hardware on this forehead? I'm tired of this nitpicking. I'm going to the bar." So he goes to the bar, and after about 2 hours, he gets good and toasted, starts feeling bad about how he talked to his wife. He comes home a little worse for the wear, and he notices the steps are all fixed. He goes up the steps through the front door, light in the hallway fixed, goes to the refrigerator to get himself a beer. The door opens and closes brilliantly. He said, "How'd you get all these repairs done?" She goes, "Well, when you left, I went outside of the front porch and I started to cry. This nice young man walked by and he asked me what was wrong, and I told him. And he said he would do all those repairs for me, but I had to do one of two things. Have a one-time fling, roll in the hay with him, or bake him a cake." And the husband said, "Well, what kind of cake did you bake him?" She said, "Excuse me, does it say Betty Crocker on this forehead?" 90-year-old man gave me that joke. True story. True story. Now let's just get to know each other. I started doing impressions when I was like 6 years old. We're talking 30 years ago. One of the first was a guy named Paul Lynde. Do y'all remember a man named Paul Lynde? 3 of you? No, he used to be Uncle Arthur on Bewitched. He used to talk like this. You do, you remember the voice. He was Templeton the Rat on Charlotte's Web. The cartoon, when he took the sign off, "It says crunchy. I'll go after my nap." When you were 8 years old, that is the funniest voice you've ever heard in your life. I can remember when he was on Hollywood Squares. He was the center square, the original Hollywood Squares. Man, was he funny on that show. Paul Circle gets a square. When a man falls off a ship into the water, you were supposed to yell, "Man overboard." Now, what do you yell when a woman falls into the water? "Full speed ahead." Oh, Paul, what does a dual-purpose cow give you? Well, it gives you cookies and milk, but I wouldn't recommend the cookies. Those aren't chocolate chips. Oh, Paul, is there anything that'll bring tears to a monkey's eyes? Yes. Learning that Tarzan swings both ways. Oh, Paul, some of those jokes just innuendo. It's like, Paul, is there... Finish this famous Broadway lyric. I have the sun by day and the father by night. Anyway, that's... Oh, maybe not. Okay, anyway. That one's too racy, but anyway, that was on television, though. What got away back then is unbelievable. Oh, Paul, how many, in the game of billiards, how many balls need to be on the table? How many guys are playing? Funny man. Anyway. All right, so here's some facts for you. I did my research on this cruise. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, on this cruise, we have 3,458 guests on this cruise. Did you know that? 3,458. All of them were at the gangway going... Of the 3,458, we have persons from 44 different countries sailing on this cruise this week. Did you know that? Yeah, now most are from the States or Canada, but we have 44 different countries. But understand something, I'm from Texas, so make that 45. Any Texans here? Any fellow, where are my Texans at? Well, them ain't drunk rednecks at all. I'm waiting for, you damn right, let's go. Okay, I have to do this for you then. I started mimicking everything I was around since I was like 6 years old, okay? 30 years ago, right? This is my impression, ladies and gentlemen, of growing up in Texas. Every drunk redneck I have ever seen, put your camera away. This is every drunk redneck I have ever seen growing up in the state of Texas. Do not try this at home, I am a professional. Here we go. Every drunk redneck I've ever seen growing up in the state of Texas about to get into a fight. I think I pretty much nailed it. I don't think there's a lot of gray area. I'm on a plane. You want to start something? You want to start something? Bring it, dude. Bring it. Let's get it on like some Donkey Kong. Let's go, dude. And if you get really lucky, you'll get this. I'll kick your ass. Kick your ass. Mississippi, and they do that because they got two teeth about that far apart. You know the crackers I'm talking about.